Business needs and the applications that support them are growing so quickly that legacy infrastructure can't keep up, and the silos that come with traditional infrastructure are a barrier to change and progress. When the business wants to do something new, buy-in is needed from multiple teams, and when IT needs to plan for new infrastructure, it needs to be done 3 to 5 years in advance. That process involves a lot of educated guesswork and is nearly impossible to get right. And when it's done wrong, the business takes a hit and IT takes the heat. Infrastructure challenges aren't going away, and most of IT's time and effort goes into keeping the lights on. But the business wants IT to do more, to focus more time and money on application services that add business value and less on infrastructure. As a result, IT teams are looking to deliver IT services with the speed and efficiency of the public cloud. But the public cloud itself isn't the best fit for every workload. So, what's the solution? The solution is hyperconverged infrastructure. Hyperconverged infrastructure combines common data center hardware using locally attached storage resources with intelligent software. This completely eliminates the need for separate servers, storage, networks, and storage arrays. And when you take those three pieces out of the equation, what remains are flexible building blocks that can neatly and completely replace legacy infrastructure. Now let's talk about these flexible building blocks and where Nutanix comes into the picture. There are different opinions on what hyperconvergence actually is, and that definition itself can vary based on the scope of the components involved. But at its core, hyperconvergence means natively combining two or more components into a single unit. The word natively is the most important part of that definition. True hyperconvergence is effective because the components are natively integrated, not just bundled together. At Nutanix, we natively converge compute and storage to form a single node that's used as part of our appliance. And the intelligent software that brings flexibility and power to that hardware is the Nutanix Enterprise Cloud OS. Each node, which is basically a server, includes Intel-powered x86 or IBM-powered hardware with flash SSDs and HDDs. A single Nutanix cluster can scale as large as the hypervisor cluster it is on. Different hardware platforms are available to address varying workload needs for compute and storage. Nutanix software is also hardware agnostic, running on hardware from vendors such as Dell, Lenovo, Cisco UCS, and HP ProLiant, and from Nutanix as well. Most HCI solutions have two fundamental components, a data plane and a management plane. With Nutanix, the data plane is called AOS, the Acropolis operating system, and the management plane is called Prism. AOS is a distributed data plane for either VMs or container-based applications. It runs across a cluster of nodes, delivering enterprise storage and virtualization services. Prism uses advanced data analytics and heuristics to simplify and streamline common workflows, eliminating the need for separate management solutions for servers, storage networks, storage, and virtualization. Prism was designed to bring the simplicity and flexibility of consumer-grade interfaces into data center management and administration, so most features are just a couple of clicks away. A third component that we need to talk about is the virtualization layer. That's AHV. Unlike most hypervisors available today, AHV is built into Acropolis and available to Nutanix customers at no additional charge. It's completely license-free, integrates neatly with the entire Nutanix solution, and significantly reduces operational complexity. AHV is hardened and meets multiple critical enterprise security requirements, offers integrated VM management through Prism, and provides flexibility through intelligent VM placement, live migration, one-click hypervisor conversion, and cross-hypervisor disaster recovery. Now, before we dive into each of these three components, AOS, AHV, and Prism, let's quickly recap everything we've talked about so far. IT complexity is hurting business. Infrastructure is time-consuming to provision and has multiple points of failure. Complex processes get in the way of scaling and upgrades, and the upfront CapEx cost is massive. And the people managing this infrastructure are, by necessity, too busy fighting fires to focus on innovation or business agility. Hyperconverged infrastructure aims to address these problems by dramatically simplifying the data center. With HCI, hardware choices are flexible because the intelligence and feature set comes from software that unifies the discrete physical components. Instead of siloed servers, storage, and networks, HCI integrates compute and storage into a single server block, which is simpler and easier to manage and scale on demand. Nutanix's solution for hyperconverged infrastructure consists of AOS, which is the data plane, Prism, which is the management plane, and AHV, which is the virtualization plane that is bundled with Acropolis. So now that we've laid the foundation, let's dive deeper into Acropolis and what it can do for a data center and a business.